Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at the Frozen server. We're doing the first of many base tours, and just over a week or two, players have really built up their forces. We're actually over at the TIR base where we'll be starting our tour. Now, this base itself has some really cool features to it. Now, the first of it is these 6 large hangars, and from what I can tell here, they look like these are going to be extended. Now, at the current moment in time, the faction have laid out a basic blueprint, so to say, for each of these hangars, so we can actually have a look inside. We've got most of them being empty. I guess that these are going to be used as storage for some of the fighters and vehicles to protect them from surprise attacks and whatnot. And then we also have one that acts as a cool little storage area inside here as well, carrying some supplies and cargo. Very nice indeed. So if we zoom out from this location, you can also see they've got themselves some sort of hydrogen fueling station, possibly a rocket under construction there that I really like, a landing pad that leads out to the front here, and then we can actually have a look around the selection of rovers. Now, rovers on this server are easier to build and don't rely on hydrogen on this server, so there is quite a necessity to build one, and it is cheap and pretty much makes sense, unlike on every other server in Space Engineers. So we've got some transport rovers that are used here to transport ores, different supplies around. You can see there's some connection ports on the top as well. Also got a combination of thrusters on this one, so maybe it can navigate and move over the terrain like a fighter if it needs to. We've also got a cool little mobile outpost right here that's got 4 large wheels and these smaller running wheels in the center, once again equipped with hydrogen, and you can see underneath there we actually have a drill rig that's designed to drill straight down. Inside here we've got it locked in place with a landing gear, and we have some more cargo containers. Pretty damn cool. So as we continue looking around, we've got ourselves another one of these vessels here, more docking ports up on the top. This one's got this cool sort of mudguard effect, and down in this lower area you've actually got windows that you can look out of, and this whole sort of staircase access mechanism that takes you into the heart of the beast. I'm going to try not to look through too many of these ships on the internal sides, just because it's going to be here all day, but a really cool little look there. And you've got the actual drill system inside that central protected area. Continuing on, we've got another selection of little offensive rovers, so I'm guessing these are little attack rovers. That one looks like it has a piston on, maybe just to stand itself up in case it loses a wheel. Pretty cool indeed. Another larger attack rover. Now, these designs remind me of nanos. I could be wrong here, but you can have a quick look through these designs, and you can see we've got this longer type ship that we saw take part in the event. This was quite good. It had great maneuverability, had some great foul power options, and it really held its own in a fight for a prolonged amount of time. That's really important on this server. A ship has got to be able to stay in the sky. If it doesn't and drops out, well, it's pretty much useless. Now, here in front we actually have another selection of their smaller fighters with the rocket pods under their wing and the Gatling guns up front. Pretty vicious little fighters these. Converted into hydrogen, they do have to recharge, and we have a selection of smaller rovers here as well, and a cool little transport type ship right here at the back. Now, this transport looks like it's got armed with rocket. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it isn't a transport. So you can see the other thing that they've done here as well is they've added this drill down on the bottom. So if they're out in the field and they're running low on power, they can simply land on the ground, drill a little bit of a hole, and recharge their hydrogen thrusters. Something that's been really hard, and many players have been struggling to work a sort of solution out for this, but a lot of them have managed to do it and nail it, and that's what it's all about, these servers, working out a cool concept where people have to innovate to survive. Anyway, let's head out to the next outpost. So now we've arrived at the TEX outpost. This is another one in a cool secluded location. This is a little bit smaller than the previous base. I'm going to just jump between different sizes. I ain't going to work down in any particular order or scale, so let's pop ourselves in straight through the door here. So we're going to have to activate our little lights. Now, this is a multi-layered bunker type base that TEX have got going here. They've got a variety of different cargo contraptions. They've got themselves their drilling rover, as well as a 3D printer that is located just around the corner here, with a quick access welding system on a piston. A little bit complicated, but they've managed to nail it. Now, if we drop ourselves down a layer, you can see it's all protected thoroughly with turrets on the inside. We know how reliable Space Engineers turrets are. They've decided to build themselves a nice wooden floor and hangar bay down here. A little bit of damage has been done. I don't know exactly what by, maybe some thruster burning and whatnot, but they've got themselves some miners and other ships down here. Through this section here, you can see we are blocked by a direct ice wall that then takes us down further into the lower section. So you can see there's these lower construction areas, and right at the bottom they've got their production for a little bit of protection. Very cool indeed, and as they build more, they extend out this area. I think there's something really cool about having an ice wall layer and then having pillars support up. I'm not too sure about the wooden floor in some areas, but you know, this base is pretty spectacular for a small, compact bunker design. Anyway, let's continue on. So we've arrived at the next location, and that's the COJ base. Now, having a look from the exterior, we can see that they've got themselves one large rover that acts as a little bit of a mobile base. We'll take a look at that shortly. And they've built this large platform here. I'm guessing this is because this is quite a rocky area, and if they don't have a flat platform to build on, it's going to be quite difficult. They've also built themselves a little bridge system here and a moat to stop vehicles from driving in and out easy. Now, having a look here, you can tell they're definitely in the early stages because they've got the drill ships out, they've got some basic welders, not too many fighters or things that are really designed to attack at the moment. They're just trying to get to grips with how to use hydrogen, it seems, on this particular server. Different hydrogens directed to different areas. They're really experimenting around. I really love this from the players themselves. So coming into this area, you can see they've got the experimental production stages with a little control seat. Very nice. That's just carved straight out the ice. Over here, we have the rover that they've been working on. So if we just dip ourselves inside, we can see that they've got the little cryo bays around the front. And then on the next deck, they actually have the production. So we'll just slide around and pop ourselves up, so you can see all the productions going on in this area, as well as more hydrogen tanks. And as we come out the rear, they have actually got a welder system. Pretty damn fantastic, if you ask me. Popping into their base through their stealthy blast door that folds down and creates a ramp into this area. We just continue down into the bunker, and you can see the basics of production have started. They've got some cool rovers that are taking shape here with these armoured glass-style cockpits. It looks like some sort of transport rover. Got some cells in the back there, very nice indeed. Over here we've got a floor welder, that's a disco print, and the beginnings of a nice and sturdy outpost. Fingers crossed this thing continues to develop. Let's move on to the next place. So continuing our tour, we've arrived at the DBS Outpost. Now, as you can see, this is quite a large outpost, and they have quite a few members. So let's have a look at what they've got lurking in its outer perimeter. So this is quite a large valley, and they've managed to fill it. So they've got some plunge miners, they've got some small transport rovers, a mining rover located there. They've got this large ship that we saw in a fight the other day. They basically clamped all the little fighters that you can see over there to the top of it and used it to take it into battle. They've got their resource hub device in the center there, so let's just have a quick zoom down. You can see the whole roof is covered in turrets, clearly wanting to keep you away from this area. We've got some DBS signs, and they've got, of course, my face stuck on more things. So they've got hands off my nuts on that one, and they've got a bee with my face on it there as well. So congratulations on sticking my face on more things. Over here it looks like we've got some more fighters taking shape. These are using the large rotors on the side to actually create a turret for the interior design. Pretty damn cool. I like the look of them. Moving over here, we've also got another rover that I'm only guessing could possibly skid along the floor due to these wheels here. If you retract these wheels up, maybe it can drift or do other things. I'm not too sure, but you've got the drill there at the front. That's going to help it dig into the ground and collect hydrogen. But what interests me the most about this shipyard is this thing that looks almost like an aircraft carrier. It's still under construction by DBS, but I'm kind of expecting them to land all the fighters on it and use it as a place to refuel them and take them out into the field in the future. Now, let's not forget this little ship here in the background. It looks like some sort of hydrogen transport. It's got cargo. Of course, it's got some processors there as well at the same time, and a very open cockpit, so I'm guessing that's not designed for combat. Continue to have a look through the base. They've got their other selection of fighters here, really nicely designed. They're really compact, and it's nice to see some people trying to perfect a fighter design on the server where you've constantly got to keep your eyes on the fuel. Looks like some sort of skiddy type motorbike in that section, and over here we have a hydrogen miner, and it comes with instructions on that little panel there, so you can tell it's going to be complicated to use. Let's head down into their hidey hole anyway. Golf cart parking. What's this one say? So this is connect when pro. Oh, okay, right. So just basic information on how they can do things around the base. So as we go down into the tunnel, we've got the variety of hangars with even more ships that they've been working on. Everything from this sort of strange cricket design to more fighters. Some have been color-coded. I'm guessing that's for particular members. If we come over to this side, we've got the same again. More fighters docked up. And it's always great to have a massive supply of fighters. The more you have, the more you can keep fighting. So let's have a look over this side. This looks like their 3D printer, and once again they put a nice instructional bit of information on it so that you can weld and build. Now continuing down their long shaft, we actually have a little corridor that goes off. Maybe they're going to be extending that up, and it comes down into a smaller hangar area down here. So of course there is more instructions because this is a base full of instructions, and this is their quarters. So I'm guessing that this whole area is going to be filled with little beds and sleeping areas and a chill out room. Yeah, look at that. That's kind of what you'd expect from an area down here. More DBS propaganda. Very cool indeed. You've also got a little golf cart to drive around this place. I'm guessing that's what they meant by the golf cart parking. Let's continue to move around this section. So we've got production, hydrogen tanks, another larger room. Got great potential here for expansion. It looks like we've even got like an underfloor cargo system. Very cool indeed, very well protected. I really do appreciate an outpost like this. Anyway, let's continue on to the next base. So the next base we arrived at is the RTR outpost, located on this big hill, so of course everyone can see it. This base is really quite cool. It's got lots of these little still areas for these landing pads coming off the side. Of course, is well protected with turrets, and each one of these landing pads is docked with a fighter of various needs. So we've got a welding ship based there, we've got ourselves a little fighter on that pad, and we have a drilling ship over here as well. Pretty cool indeed. It also looks like they're starting to build a larger ship off this platform. Anyway, let's take a quick look inside. So we've got the entrance here. We've also got this cool little garage with another fantastically designed rover in there with the glass, the small ship glass that just makes small ships come to life. So as we enter into here, we're greeted with, of course, a fake fireplace and this lovely large glass window that you can see from this side. This place is beautiful to look at. I would really hope it does hold up in a fight. So moving up the staircase, of course, they've got a kitchen, they've got a laboratory, they've got themselves another little staircase. Of course, they've got a little welcome sign. Very cool indeed. In previous servers, these guys did a lot of trading, but it'll be interesting to see what exactly they're going to do in this case. More turrets mounted on the roof, and as we took ourselves below, we have the lower area with these strange cages? I don't know what's going down on here. Maybe some sort of experimentation's happening. I don't know what. The lift damaged, under repair, so it looks like they're building some sort of lift down into this lower area of the facility. This is quite a vast place with a really beautiful interior that's taking place here. And finally, it looks like it takes you into a med bay with some access. It reminds me a little bit of the suit-up area for some reason from Half-Life. I'm not too sure if it reminds you as well. The shaft continues to go down, though. There is more levels to this place. What the hell is this level? This is the UV warning. Let's check this door out first. Okay, that leads down to a creepy ladder that comes to the basement. This is the weird thing about exploring these bases. You never really know what you're going to find. So through the UV area, I guess it's going to be cleaning you or doing something to you. It leads to a hidden fighter pad on a lower level. Very, very cool indeed. And I guess that ladder takes you down to that level as well. Let's have a peek behind the walls and see how this place works. So yeah, so we've got another hidden part of the facility down in the lower area. Wow. That is a really cool outpost, especially for some sort of compact design like this. I really like this one. Great work, RTR. Let's continue on. So we've arrived at another small hidden outpost. The player's done the best they can to disguise this place. So let's continue on in. So as we enter in here, we've got this small little hangar with a selection of fighter craft, and it looks like a transport craft there as well. Very cool indeed. Now this is a quick, compact base. You can see that they've got themselves a basic welder printer system there with a grinder pit below. Very nice indeed. And as we come over here, this is where we've got something a bit more interesting. I'm not too sure if this is going to be a fighter or some sort of ship, but they're making the usual situation of where they're going to have to mine this thing to get it out. That could be a problem on its own. So under here, we've also got more fighter storage, a selection of fighters and a small little cart here. You can see it's got this wheel type clamp. I can only guess this is for moving fighters around in the hangar. A cool idea indeed. Or alternatively, it could be used for these guys. And I think these are missiles that can be attached to these said fighters, but I'm yet to see one being deployed in action. Fingers crossed it all works out for him and he can get them working. Through this little pad we've got access to the lower part of the facility, so once again a very small entrance but a very large underground presence where there can be lots of building. As long as you don't as long as you don't build too big, you can usually get things out. That's just one of the important areas, but a lot of mining to go by the look of it. They've got some big plans for this particular outpost, and as well, I can't wait to see what happens when they get this rocket out of here. Are they going to cause some trouble, or are they going to be peaceful and behave? Anyway, let's continue on. Now we continue to lurk throughout the server, and we've come across another cool little outpost. This one actually has a perimeter wall. They've got this little wall around the edge with some turrets on as a little bit of defense, and they've got another one built in that section. Now, of course, this has taken a bit of extra time, so they've not got themselves as many rovers. They've also got this turret here at the entrance, and it looks like they're managing to build themselves some drilling ships. So they've got themselves 2 drilling ships in the entrance there. They've got themselves a rover in the inside. This is typical of what you'd see from a much smaller faction who are trying to hide, but at the same time they want to add some protection to their base. So they've got everything they need in there. Some hangars, a basic living quarters, that's what I'm guessing is going to be tucked back here. Yep, basic living quarters, areas to survive, and some processing as well. A cool little compact base. I really like the idea of that. I can't wait to see a few more of these sort of solo or few man outposts. They really take shape and they look pretty damn fantastic when they're built out like this, with maybe 1 or 2 people's imaginations. When you get more than 5 or 6 people working on a base, it does get a little bit messy and designs tend to vary quite a lot. Anyway, let's continue on. Now the tour has come to an end and we've reached our final outpost. Now I'm sorry to all the people that didn't make their creations or bases into the tour. As usual, we're trying to cover as much as possible in a short time span. Maybe your base will be featured in the next base tour video. So the final place we've ended up at is this weird location. I believe Apathy is somewhat behind it, but there's a few other players behind it as well, but it wasn't named. It seems to be like a city street with a little red car, a weird reactor. There's actually interior to this house that was pretty damn cool, to be fair. It's got a nice wooden interior and a desk area below. I was really confused about the town, and then I came over here and they've got bombers under construction and Spitfires. I'm really quite confused. Over here they've got a Y-wing. I just feel like they've got a lot of different things on their plate here. They're building a city, but they're also dipping into Star Wars and World War II fighter craft. I mean, handle whatever you wish. But anyway, to wrap this video up, I want to leave you with this question. Which was your favourite creation or base in this video? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.